up in school, no one ever called me anything close to an innovator. They called me different, they called me weird, they called me a couple other words I can't say on TV. So thankfully my mother taught me that being different was a good thing. That being different meant you could actually make a difference. If you're a young person like I used to be, and you're at home watching and you're being called weird, or you're being called different, or whatever the hell you're being called, I'm here tonight to tell you, your critics do not count. Their words will fade. You won't.
Be yourself, embrace your quirks, embrace your weirdness. I was a very, very, very weird child. Very weird child. Even if you have quirks and weirdness, you shouldn't be worried about that. I think the people that I went to school with were the most normal and were the coolest when we grew up. Like, there's no one in the world that can be a better you than you. And if you try to be the cool kid from class, you'll end up being very boring. Be yourself, embrace your quirks. Being weird is a wonderful thing. And it has led for so many creative people.
I finally decided that I was living with so much shame and so much fear that I just couldn't live that way anymore. And I decided to come out and make it creative, and my character would come out at the same time. And it wasn't to make a political statement. It wasn't to do anything other than to free myself up from this heaviness that I was carrying around. And I just wanted to be honest. And I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I can lose my career. I did. I lost my career. Yet I was getting letters from kids that almost committed suicide but didn't because of what I did. And I realized that I had a purpose. Really, when I look back on it, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, it was so important for me to lose everything because I found out what the most important thing is to be true to yourself. And ultimately, that's what's gotten me to this place. I don't live in fear. I'm free. I have no secrets. And I know I'll always be okay because no matter what, I know who I am.
You can't follow the fashion when you're trying to do a startup company, or I think really anything in life. But you have to, as an entrepreneur, if you're gonna build a company, pick something you think is interesting that has the intersection of genuinely creating real customer value, and then just stay right there and let the wave catch you.
Will you follow dogma, or will you be original? Will you choose a life of ease, or a life of service and adventure? Will you wilt under criticism, or will you follow your convictions? Will you bluff it out when you're wrong, or will you apologize? Will you guard your heart against rejection, or will you act when you fall in love?
You know, the old day director is so powerful. You have to do this, you have to do that. The arm puller here, finger puller here. Act. They don't let you use whatever you use. You just like a machine. When Bruce Lee kick high, I kick low. When Bruce Lee after punch, I do ow. No, just like normal human being. Normal when I was young, I'm fighting on the street. One by one, boom, I knock somebody down. 2 by 1, I knock somebody down. 3, I run away. So in the movie, do the same thing. Everything you use in the movie is my real life.
Individuality and just appreciating like the way I think and the way I feel, and having, you know, letting that have some value and worth. So it's betting on yourself and betting on your difference and appreciating the rarity of how you think.
Dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. And I'm talking about not what your parents and teachers want you to be, but you. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it may sound to the people. We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. The agent also complained about my accent. He says no one ever became a star with an accent like that, especially not with a German accent. And yes, I can imagine with your name, Arnold Schwarzenschnitzel or whatever the name is, on a billboard. Yeah, that's gonna draw a lot of tickets and sell a lot of tickets. Yeah, right. So this is the kind of negative attitude they had, but I didn't listen to those rules. And then when I did Terminator, I'll be back. Became one of the most famous lines in movie history, all because of my crazy accent. Now think about it, the things that the agent said will be totally a detriment and will be impossible for me to get a job, all of a sudden became an asset for me. All of those things, my accent, my body and everything. So it just shows you never listen that you can't do something.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you all very much.